So you're thinking about moving to Marietta, Georgia, but you want to know everything there is to know about what it's like to live there. Today in this video, we're going to break down the pros and the cons of living in Marietta, Georgia. I'm here to share with you the good, the bad, and honestly, the things that you never even imagined you would learn about. That is what you're going to get from this channel. By the way, we put videos out every single week. So if you like this one, hit like and click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on a video. I'm here to educate you. I'm Kelly Allen. I've been helping people move in and out around Georgia for over 25 years. When people talk about Marietta, they're either talking about city of Marietta that has about 60,000 residents, or they're talking about an area called East Cobb, which is also Marietta, but it's unincorporated. It's not city of. You don't pay city taxes in unincorporated Cobb County. So those are the two areas of Marietta that I'm talking about today. I'm talking about unincorporated East Cobb, and I'm talking about city of Marietta. Both addresses are Marietta, but it's very important for you to remember the differences between those two. So today we're focused on Marietta, and I want to share with you my first pro of living in Marietta. By the way, I live in Marietta, so you're getting insider information. So let's get into our first pro, and that is going to be property taxes. So property taxes, for my people who are moving from the West Coast or from New England, I mean, you guys are used to paying so much in property taxes. Well, down here in Atlanta, in Metro Atlanta, our property taxes are very low compared to what you're used to. Now, you have two different layers of taxes. You've got city taxes and you have county taxes. Remember those two areas that I just mentioned? Well, city of Marietta, you're going to have city and county. And in unincorporated, you're only going to have county, which makes your property taxes even lower. So on a home that's about $900,000 in unincorporated Marietta, you can expect to pay about $9,000 in taxes. If you're in city of Marietta, then your tax bill is probably going to be a couple thousand more. So you're probably looking at around $11,000 to $12,000. Still relatively low though, compared to so many other areas of the country. All right, my first con is going to be population. We are growing at a rapid pace. Marietta is where a lot of people want to be. With a large population, which at last count was over 318,000, comes extra cars on the road. So you've got more traffic, bigger class sizes in our public schools, and things like that. So that's my first con is we have a growing population. Do we have the infrastructure to support such a fast growing population? Pro number two is going to be all the activities. So when you live in Marietta, Georgia, you have access to some of the state's and even the Southeast most loved and cherished amenities. Some of those include access to the Chattahoochee River. So if you're a kayaker, a stand-up paddleboarder, or anything else that you want to do river related, we have it here in Marietta, Georgia. You also have access to one of the top hiking mountains in the Southeast, and that's Kennesaw National Battlefield. You have, the Battery. The Battery is where our Atlanta Braves play, and whether they are in season or not, the Battery is a place to go. It's got great restaurants, fun things to do for the kids. You can even bike there from certain parts of Marietta. It is a fun place to go. Another amenity that we have in Marietta that you are going to love if you haven't been there yet is going to be the Marietta Square. So the Marietta Square has shopping, it has restaurants, it's got a brewery, it has a beautiful park in the middle of it as well. In addition to all of that, in the summer and the fall, there are concerts at Glover Park. You can bring chairs, you can bring your family. There are concerts on Friday evenings. There's always something to do there. 4th of July, there's a parade every single weekend. There's a farmer's market. It's really the heart of our community. The only issue is, and I'm going to swing over to the con list, is how far away it can be if you're living on the other side of Marietta. I am in the East Cobb area of Marietta, and it takes me a solid 30 minutes to get to the square. That's one of my cons, is that Marietta is very spread out, and just because you have all these amazing things to do does not mean you're going to get there quickly. All right, time for our third pro if you're considering moving to Marietta, Georgia, and that pro has got to be education. Education is an emphasis in Marietta, Georgia. In fact, over 45% of our residents hold a 4-year degree or higher, which is 12% higher than the state of Georgia and 5% more than the rest of Metro Atlanta. So we are a group of very educated individuals in Marietta, Georgia, but it makes sense. So we have some of the best public schools in not only the state, but the country. And we have 4-year universities like Life University and Kennesaw State University, as well as Chattahoochee Tech. From preschool all the way up to higher education, Marietta not only has you covered, you literally don't have to leave your town, but you can rest assured knowing that you're surrounded by a population of people who truly value education. Now, I am going to flip over to a con, and it's going to sound absurd, but it's also education. And that is because just like most areas anywhere in the country, you're not going to find one area that has excellent schools throughout the entire county or throughout the entire city. So when I say education is a pro here, I also want to temper that with it's also a con, because there are certain parts of Marietta whose schools rank pretty poorly based on greatschools.org and niche.com. So if education is a priority on your list, and one of the things that's very important to you when you're picking your new home, then you want to be careful about where you look in Marietta and in that East Cobb area. The higher ranked schools tend to be segregated more in the East Cobb area. You've got schools like Walton High School, Lassiter High School, Pope High School. You've got the Wheeler STEAM program. But you also can go a little bit further into the city of Marietta, where you have Marietta High School, which is an international baccalaureate school. All right, pro is commute times. The average Marietta resident has a commute of 32 minutes, and that is because we have such quick and easy access into the city via I-75, where there are several exits that service Marietta. And we also have an exit off Georgia 400 for the people who live more over in East Cobb to get into the city. We also have a couple of exits off I-285 that take you around the city. So if you need to get into or around the city and you live in Marietta, you can be anywhere that you want to go in a matter of minutes. Fun fact about Marietta is we have one section of 75 near I-285 that has 16 lanes, making it the widest of anywhere in the country on the interstate highway system. So let's go to another con, which is going to be crime. Now, Marietta, compared to a national average, has a little bit higher violent crime and higher property crime. However, when you compare it to City of Atlanta, for example, it's less. It truly is one of the safer areas in Atlanta, but it definitely has its share of crime. Overall, though, as a Marietta resident, I can tell you that I feel very safe in most parts of Marietta and East Cobb. There are very few streets that I would choose not to walk down at night. Most of them are very safe, and we have a great police presence here as well. So even though I put it on the con list, as it relates to the rest of Metro Atlanta, it's really not a big deal, and I encourage you to do your own research on that. All right, my last pro of this video, but there are so many more pros, but my last one for this video is going to be the family-friendly environment that it has. This is why people move to Marietta. They move to Marietta from not only different places in the country, but they move from the city out to Marietta when it's time to have kids. It's time to raise a family. You want great public schools. You want a safe area to raise your kids in. You want access to fun sports for your family and your kids. And you want low property taxes. Another thing that we have too that I think is really special is we have a lot of seniors who either choose to stay in Marietta or they move from Fulton County into Marietta to take advantage of our senior tax exemption. So what is a senior tax exemption? So in Marietta, when you hit the age of 62, you get a big break on your property taxes. Essentially, the school part of your property taxes gets deducted, which makes a massive benefit. But having lived in Marietta, I can let you know there's not a better place to raise your kids. It's safe and you have so much fun. There's access to baseball and soccer and all kinds of recreation, and the community is so supportive as well. All right, my final con is going to be cost of living. So just like many places in Metro Atlanta, the cost of living is going to be higher than the national average. In fact, it's about 9% higher to live here versus the US and about 12% higher when compared to the state. The median price of a home here in Marietta is just under $600,000, which is considerably higher than the national average. However, not as high as other areas, not only in Metro Atlanta, but actually throughout the country too. We are still a bargain when you compare it to some other parts of the country. That rounds out some of my pros and cons for living in Marietta. If there was something that you liked or something that you wanted me to add, please put it in the comments so that the viewers can also learn from you. Click subscribe, please click like, and watch out for the next video where I'll be giving you a pro and con list of a different area of Metro Atlanta. Have a good day.